So for 20 years now, I've been commentating on this wonderful sport of autograss racing, where I've been able to talk about every kind of autograss race that the sport has had to offer, from little club events with just 2 or 3 cars in a race, right up to the big championship races and title deciders, where the crowds flock in to cheer on their favourites to see who would be crowned the big winner on the day. Over that time, I've also been able to witness a lot of races, but not had chance to talk about them, mainly because I wasn't actually the commentator on that day. And also, there are races before I was born, which are also classics to look back on. And I always have great interest in watching back these races and wondering what it would have sounded like if I put my own spin on things and provided my own tone to it. So that is what this is all about. I'm going to take some races from the past and have a look at them and then put my own commentary over the top, just to see what it would sound like and also what you would think to it. Commentating is a big passion of mine, as some of you know, and I just like to look back at these old races and just put my own wording to it and just see how different it could sound with a modern twist. Now, this is no disrespect to any of the commentators that have spoken about these races in person on those given days, but again, I just want to put my own version on it. A lot of these races happened before I was around, as I've already mentioned, so it would just be good to see how things would sound. This will be a bit tricky, actually, because with the footage, I can only do it on video footage, so I actually can't see the full race through my own eyes. I can only see what the TV camera would pick up. So it makes it a little bit different and a little bit tricky, a bit like how a commentator would do on TV. So that's another challenge to set myself, just to see if I can provide an entertaining voiceover to how the race would unfold, despite not being able to see everything going on at the time. So the first one in this series I'm going to look at is actually a race from before I was around, and it is the 1984 National Championships. This was held at York on the same venue that they've got their current track on. But this one, it was on I think a different field at the time for these events, but it was a fantastic weekend, and it has to be credited by some as the first classic nationals. There were nationals, of course, before that, but this one seems to live on in a few more people's memories compared to those in the years before. And the race in question that we're going to look at is the big one of the weekend, the National Champion of Champions, which, again, using that word over and over again, I think is one of the first classic races that was to take place, where a number of different drivers could have been crowned champion on the day. So I'm going to provide my own commentary on it. I hope you enjoy it. Let's see what happens. So here we are then at the end of a long weekend. It's the one they all want to win, the 1984 National Champion of Champions. We've got a full lineup of cars out there on the grid, including defending Champion of Champions, Hereford Treble 9, Dave Hill, but he's got his work cut out to defeat the rest in this 10-lap finale. We've got a full grid of cars, as said, which will be led by the Class 1 of Ludlow Treble 2, Steve Mundy. There is the big Union Jack, which will be waved to signal the start of the race. The one right at the back is the Class 10, though, of Mick Mogsy Morgan in the Cumdy 1, who's a 2-lap deficit, so he's got to do 12 laps if he wants to win this one in that big, powerful Class 10. But at the moment, just a bit of discussion going on as to making sure that everybody is in their correct start positions, and when they are all happy, the Union Jack will wave to signify the beginning of the Champion of Champions race. As said, a full lineup of cars there, so all in contention with this. That's Russ Tyler on the far side, then in the Class 5, the Hereford 9, and away we go then. The Champion of Champions for 1984 is underway. There goes Gerald Brace in the Class 8 ahead of Norman Grasby. There is your race leader, Steve Mundy, and he's got the Phil Taylor Class 4 right behind him. There's Dave Hill in the Fiesta behind Colin Claxton's Class 3. And we've got red flags because Paul Bailey is stranded there on the straightaway, and those drivers then will line up and they will do it all over again. So spectators then keen to stay by and watch this. There is Gerald Brace then, and a 3-time national champion in the PhD 27. We wait for the Union Jack to fly again, and away we go. The Champion of Champions back underway, and it's Brace then who gets the better start over Norman Grasby's Class 9 once again. Steve Mundy, your race leader. Phil Taylor once again, quickest of the modifieds. Colin Claxton's Class 3 up the inside of Dave Hill, and round on on that outside goes the Class 8 of it's the Class 10, of Mick Morgan, trying to thread his way through the traffic and unlap himself, at least for the first time. But it's the Class 1 which leads the way as the cars go thundering through down the start-finish straight and onto the back straight once more. Paul Bailey right on the back, that mini estate, bouncing on the bumps there. There goes Mick Morgan trying to unlap himself. He's on the outside of Phil Taylor's rapid Class 4, but they've all got work to do if they're going to hunt down that race leader, which is Steve Mundy. Oh, Colin Claxton's gone. The Escort then spun onto the centre green. There goes your race leader, but Dave Hill, is that a bit of smoke showing then from the Fiesta? As he's passed by the Class 10 then. There goes Nick Cleal through, and there's Norman Grasby and Eves from 21. He's a lap down. Morgan goes past us then once more in the Cum D1. Dave Hill, smoke coming from that Ford Fiesta. Let's hope all's well there. Paul Bailey has now got ahead of Phil Taylor, but the Class 4 then back up the inside of the little Class 6. Well, it's a bigger car in terms of CC and power, but Taylor using everything he can to get ahead. Oh, he's just gone wide. Oh, Mick Morgan right across the front of him. He's out of it in the Cum D1. He's on the infield, and a brave effort from the Class 10 man, but he is out. There goes Russ Tyler in Hereford 9 looking up the inside of Phil Taylor. The Class 5 then closing on the Class 4, but so far no way through for him. But the Hereford club certainly showing strong here, and the West Midland League in total. But it's Dave Hill going through ahead of Paul Bailey, Phil Taylor and Russ Tyler, but they've still got to catch Steve Mundy somewhere in that Ludlow treble 2. He's out there in the little mini, and he's being closed down by Nick Cleal down the far side. Phil Taylor goes wide. Russ Tyler up the inside in that Hereford 9 and takes that position away from him, but the saloons are all closing up. There goes Nick Cleal ahead of Dave Hill. Dave Hill, remember, the defending champion of champions, didn't win his class, but he's got through here as defending champion and looking to try and make a challenge for the front position. The specials so far nowhere in sight. There goes Jeff Hogg with a Rover V8 thundering through, but smoke pouring from the back of that one. There goes Dave Hill. He's past Nick Cleal and moves up a position. WS4 then is behind, but it's a Hereford battle behind him. 99 and 9. It's Paul Bailey in the Class 6, Russ Tyler in the Class 5. Tyler looks to the outside, down the back straight once more. So far no way through, but as they're going to come through, there's Dave Hill into the lead he goes, and treble 9 it is, and the battle is on further back. Look, we've got Steve Mundy in Ludlow treble 2 still there in second place. We've got a squabble on further back. They're dispatching the Class 2 then of Weymouth South 4. He's dropping further back as Paul Bailey goes through into second place ahead of Steve Mundy, and then it's Russ Tyler and Phil Taylor going through then, and it's down to these saloons, but Dave Hill is clear in Hereford treble 9. Can he do the unthinkable and defend his title without winning his class? It's a Class 6 1-2 as Paul Bailey goes through into that second place ahead of Russ Tyler. Tyler looking up the inside, but then switches to the wider line, and the minis then in that position as they go through once more, but Dave Hill is clear. Phil Taylor in the Class 4 muscling up the inside of Russ Tyler for that third place. Can he fight back? There's no giving up with these drivers until that checkered flag falls, and down that back straight they go once more. The laps are falling away. We're closing as Bailey's gone wide and Taylor's up the inside. Oh, and what's happened here as Paul Bailey pulls to the outside? Oh, and Dave Hill, smoke pouring from the Fiesta. The Hereford treble 9, he had smoke from the early stages, but now the car has expired and Tyler's up the inside of Phil Taylor. Then it's side by side. The Hereford challenge has fallen, or has it? As Tyler goes up the inside, Taylor on the outside. It's the Class 5 versus the Class 4, but it's Russ Tyler takes the checkered flag. Then it's Phil Taylor, and who is back in third? It's a smoky Jeff Hogg in the Swansea 270. There's smoke everywhere around the York Raceway. Steve Mundy and Nick Cleal go through. I think they waved the checkered flag to Hogg instead of Tyler because the battle was so close. But it is Hereford 9, Russ Tyler, your 1984 National Champion of Champions. And there he is then, a delighted champion, picking up the silverware and the laurel wreath, and a well-deserved National Champion of Champions for 1984. So there we go. That was my voiceover commentary for the Men's National Champion of Champions for 1984. Let me know what you think to it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments any suggestions of races that you would like me to cover in the future. Hopefully, if it's well received, we'll do a few more of these. Thank you for supporting the GrassChat YouTube channel and, of course, the Facebook page. All your support is certainly well appreciated. And hopefully we'll be back very soon for another video of some sort, whether it's another one of these or anything else that we can put on the channel. So thank you, everybody. Take care and goodbye.